Welcome to the Create Your Happy podcast, where the mission is to empower women in their journey of self-discovery. Here we explore how to fully embrace our humanness, find our unique voice, and understand that through unconditional love and conscious relationships, we have the power to change the world. I'm your host, Christy Holt, your one and only happiness hussy, adventure guide, and conscious funpreneur. I'm on a heartfelt mission to change the world one beautiful soul at a time. Are you ready to elevate your relationships to the next level? I've got you. It's time for a messy fucking beautiful adventure. It's time to create your happy. That problem that you have, it's not what you think it is. And you're not unhappy for the reasons that you think you are. And today we're going to be getting to the root of all of these problems so that you can see them more clearly for what they truly are. Hello, gorgeous human. Welcome back to the Create Your Happy podcast, your source for creating conscious relationships with yourself and others. And on this episode, we'll be unpacking the following. You don't just face random problems. You're encountering an identity problem. Now, this episode is going to give you a little bit of understanding about how your seemingly external challenges actually stem from internal disconnections, along with how embracing your true identity can transform your life. So consider this. When you feel stuck in a quote-unquote problem, whether it's your relationships, your career, your personal growth, health problems, etc., these aren't just random misfortunes. They're actually a reflection of your internal state. Now, stay with me to the end if you're starting to feel a bit of resistance coming up, because I hope that it's going to make a little bit more sense as we dive further in. Now, for instance, if you, for example, feel unappreciated, you could point the finger at your spouse and say they made you feel that way. But the reality is that your feeling this way actually is a reflection of your own internal narrative about your self-worth. And this is based on your self-beliefs and quite likely some past experiences where you may have felt neglect. Imagine feeling overshadowed by your partner's success. It's easy to chalk this up to jealousy or competitive feelings, but what if this discomfort is really about your own feelings of inadequacy or your fears that their success might mean that you're less important? This situation invites you to explore and heal parts of yourself. And by heal, I mean reintegrate these parts of yourself that may feel less than or unworthy. It's not actually about their success, you see. It's actually about your own identity, your own self-worth. So yeah, as it turns out, often our own self-beliefs are actually what are causing us our own pain and suffering, not that other person, not that external circumstance. Oof. And this is actually great news because we can't change what we are unaware of. And well, now you know. So let's talk about the illusion of the suffering, because suffering results when we resist what is, or when in fear in fear of change, we cling to our preferences and the status quo, when essentially what we're doing is arguing with reality and causing ourselves a whole bunch of unnecessary suffering. Now, on the other hand, when we accept and align ourselves with reality and create a space of allowing our experience to be our experience without so much damn resistance and judgment about it, we can start to see that everything is impermanent and that our pain actually stems from our resistance by way of our thoughts, our feelings, and our response, rather than from that experience itself. And when we understand that there is only one thing that we can control, which is us and our response, this can make all the difference. When we claim our rightful power to change ourselves by reframing our thoughts, our feelings, our reactions, which all create our experience of reality, we can finally find this true freedom and peace that we've been seeking. Now, ultimately, it's about shifting your perspective from "it shouldn't be this way" to "how might I see this differently?" or "what can this teach me?" Now, luckily for us, these patterns of resistance aka our problems, that cause us so much ongoing pain and suffering can be unlearned, and new neural pathways can be created in their place so that we can reduce our own suffering. Neuroscience research shows us that it's never too late. It's never too late to reshape our brains and reroute our neural pathways, thus altering our minds and our experiences of quote unquote reality. Now, we can change our brains and thus our realities through the use of conscious thought and intention. And by reframing any of these harmful, limiting, or just plain negative beliefs and replacing them with some that align more closely with our true selves, we can shift out of this mere survival mode and into conscious creation mode. This is where what was previously invisible to us becomes visible, opening up a whole new world of possibilities. And I find it really helpful for myself to look at conscious creation this way. I'm not the avatar that is Christy that is being played. I am the player itself, the one who is playing this avatar called Christy. In other words, I'm the cause, not the effect, right? And essentially what I believe is that I am the divine, the all that is, having this individuated human experience, both wholly divine and wholly human. And when I realized that I'm not the avatar in the illusion, but rather the player consciously creating as I play the game, as I choose to play the game, I start to see my role in a different light. Now, if you think about playing a video game, you recognize that you have a lot of choices and different things appear in front of you as you make these different choices. And this is essentially what I'm getting at with this. Now, another challenge that I often see in those who are really struggling is the need to be right. And ultimately, this need to be right is a need to feel safe, which stems from fear. Fear that being wrong makes us either vulnerable and weak and unsafe, or just plain unworthy of love, sometimes both. Either way, this can threaten even our mere survival. And recognizing here that multiple truths can coexist. In fact, there are 8.1 billion-ish versions of truth on this planet. But letting that go can allow us to release the fear and embrace a more compassionate approach to our relationships, both with ourselves and with others. And in addition, recognizing these multitude of truths can actually lead to enhanced relationship dynamics and greater self-understanding. Imagine a scenario where two partners are discussing their future plans. One partner wants to move to a new city for, perhaps a better job opportunity, and the other wants to stay close where their family is. Perhaps the tension is escalating, not just because of their differing opinions, but because each partner feels a deep need to be right about their choice. Now, one partner might argue that moving will provide better career growth and financial stability, and they may even view staying as a risk to this financial security. In this case, perhaps the other is arguing that staying is crucial for emotional support and well-being, and they might even view moving as a risk to their emotional health. Now, the underlying fear for both is that being wrong could make this life decision one that jeopardizes their well-being, their stability, and their relationship. Recognizing that both perspectives do in fact hold truth and that both desires do in fact stem from legitimate needs can actually allow them to open up a dialogue that moves them from conflict and being against each other, seeing things differently, to a mutual understanding that can create a space for creative problem solving instead. So might you try on the idea today that letting go of being right just might mean letting go of unnecessary suffering? Might you try on the concept of let them, whereby you experience others with different or opposing behaviors, perspectives, ideas, truths, and opinions, truths, of course, and you simply let them. There is actually immense power in allowing, and this does not mean tolerating or accepting mistreatment, don't get me wrong, but it does mean not burdening yourself with unnecessary sufferings simply because your rightness, your correctness has been put into question. Not only this, but I'll remind you again here, if you are always right, you would never grow. Because making mistakes and learning from them, and accepting that you have been wrong in the past and that you survived it, can actually help you to reshape the concept of failure and being wrong, actually, into something that supports your evolution rather than keeping you stuck. And let's keep going here on this topic, because there's another piece that I want to share about. And this piece of this, sort of life-changing, problem-solving identity shift that we're talking about today is learning to accept our flaws and imperfections, right? Because by accepting all of the parts of ourselves, we actually dissolve the illusions of being broken or missing something or there being something wrong with us. And it helps us to release the pain that we've been carrying. This return to our true identity reveals that what we often perceive as problems are actually just pathways. They are invitations to deeper understanding and acceptance of our true selves. And not only this, but I truly believe that you are perfect just as you are. Perfectly you, right? Perfectly imperfect. And so those perceived flaws, they're merely an illusion that you've bought into. Perhaps here you might try on the idea that these perceived imperfections are actually magnificent gifts, invitations to explore your wholeness, and a deeper invitation to acceptance and trust in the divinely human being that you are. Integrating the shadow, those parts of ourselves that we might prefer to ignore or hide based on our past experiences or trauma, is essential if we want to experience the magical wholeness that we are. And the fact that you might not fit in is not something that's wrong with you. It's actually something that's very right. Because you are not meant to fit in, contorting yourself to blend in with others. You are meant to be uniquely yourself and to belong just as you are. Knowing who you are and accepting yourself, flaws and all, perfectly imperfect, you step into this role of the conscious creator. Now choosing, truly using your will to make a choice from the infinite possibilities that lie before you. And the choice that you take is always going to be perfect for you. This is you in the driver's seat, creating your happy. And if you make a choice that doesn't feel like it's the perfect one for you, it is still perfect for your path because it is an opportunity to grow and reflect and choose differently next time. It is an opportunity for you to take this sort of existential knowledge, if you will, and make it into lived experience, which creates a whole nother level of wisdom, right? Okay, before we wrap this up, let's make today's insight actionable, because I love to give you some practical action steps to take. So today I invite you to reflect on a current or even recent relationship problem, because we do talk about relationships here a little bit. But truly you could talk about any problem that you're currently facing. Now I want you to think about this problem and ask yourself, how might this situation actually be reflecting a part of my identity? What is it teaching me about myself? And where might this be signaling an unmet need that I have, considering how I can go about meeting that need for myself? So you can journal and contemplate your answers, but don't just skim by this action step and fast forward to the next episode. This practice isn't just about finding answers. It's about discovering the deeper truths about your identity and your capacity for change so that you can go out there and consciously create a life and love that makes you truly fucking happy. Now, for those who are ready to dive deeper into these concepts, I do recommend my book, Unstuck for Women, which includes my signature spiral stopper method. Essentially, it's a toolbox of strategies designed to help you to start rewiring those neural pathways so that you can move from survival mode to conscious creator mode. And if you're ready to go even deeper, the Unstuck for Women Daily Self-Discovery Journal will help you to start a journey into discovering your true identity within. This will help you to illuminate your unique path to freedom and happiness. The details for both of these will be included in the show notes, so you can pop by and get those today. Now, as we finally wrap up today's exploration, I want you to remember, again, that your perceived problems are invitations to rediscover and embrace your true essence, right? This deep self-knowledge is not just about uncovering your flaws. It's about rediscovering and embracing your intrinsic strengths and values. These are what guide you to live authentically and in alignment with your true self. When you know who you truly are, each challenge is no longer a barrier, but it's a signpost guiding you back to your intended state of peace, love, happiness, bliss, and ultimate freedom. This is your intended state of being. Now, if today's discussion resonated with you and you're seeking more guidance on how to navigate your path, reach out. Grab the tools that I talked about and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Let's embrace the messy, fucking beautiful adventure that is love and life together. I love you all. Now let's go do some epic shit, shall we? Are you ready to break free from self-doubt and embrace a life of empowerment? Introducing the Unstuck for Women Daily Self-Discovery Journal, the ultimate companion to my international best-selling book, Unstuck for Women. This beautifully designed journal will take you on a transformative 90-day journey of gratitude, self-discovery, and personal growth. Each day, you'll dive deep into powerful insights, prompts, and exercises that build confidence and self-love. Align your actions with your desired feeling state and watch as your life transforms. This journal is your key to unlocking the extraordinary woman within you. So get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth like never before. You can order your copy of the Unstuck for Women Daily Self-Discovery Journal today. Unleash your limitless potential. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I trust you were inspired to take back your power and create your happy. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with the women in your life who could use a little more inspiration today. If you'd like to connect or explore the additional resources mentioned in this episode, you can find those details and links in the show notes below. As always, get out there, have fun, be you, and create your happy.